So, what should be in your sober toolkit? You want things in there that you can go to quickly when you want to drink, or when you need to calm down, or when you need to check out from what's going on around you. They're the tools that you know will distract you, pacify you, calm you down, and take you away when you really, really want to drink. It's really important for you to know that you will want to drink. Of course, you'll want to drink. It's been your go to coping mechanism for years and years. It's a reflexive habit for a lot of us. It's been your constant companion. You're used to drinking, it's familiar, and you're working on changing those habits and finding out and experimenting on what also will work for you to calm you down, relax you, get you through the night, entertain you when you're bored, and to choose things that will actually do that and make you feel better, not worse, the next day. But things will happen as you're walking along this new path. Bad things will happen and good things will happen. And you'll want to go back to your old friend. You'll want to say, screw it. This isn't worth it. This is all too hard. I can drink tonight and just start again tomorrow. I'm not feeling any better right now, so I might as well drink. Or I never really had a problem. I overreacted. I'm an adult. I deserve to drink. I've got this under control. This not drinking thing was a really stupid idea anyway. When you think those things, know that this is normal. Know that this is part of the process and that every woman walking this path has thought these things as well. When you hear these things, know that this is your addictive voice. It's the voice that wants to take you back to daily drinking. The fact is that drinking is addictive. It's a really hard habit to break. And every time you want to drink and you don't, you are building a sober muscle. You are getting stronger. You are putting more and more consistent days, continuous days between you and starting over on day one. That's why your toolkit is so important. So here's what's in mine. My number one thing in my sober toolkit is my iPhone, and that includes my earbuds and my charger. My phone is literally in my back pocket or my bag at any time. I have it at work, I have it at home, I have it in a restaurant or at a dinner party, I have it at family gatherings and holidays, and your phone will carry in it so many options, reminders, and sober supports for you to access. The good news is this tool in your toolkit is something you have on hand anyway, and it can be the most awesome sober support tool you need. A lot of the other things I'm going to touch on in this episode that should be in your sober toolkit can be accessed and stored on your phone. So if your phone and headphones are number one, the second thing you need in your sober toolkit is audiobooks and podcasts and messages of sober support. Now you've got a head start because right now you're listening to this podcast where I share conversations, resources, information, and tips on how to quit drinking and live happily without alcohol. In early sobriety, I recommend that you spend 1 to 2 hours a day listening to something that reminds you that not drinking is a good idea. I know this sounds like a lot, but you are going through the process of literally deprogramming and retraining your mind and your habits that have been built up over 20 years. You are triggered or reminded or encouraged to drink probably 20 times a day, from posts on social media to your friends encouraging you, to invitations to happy hour at work, to the stores you normally stop in, the aisles you usually shop, and what you're used to doing when you walk in the door. So all of that will make you think that drinking is a good idea. You need to spend some time in the early days tapping into women and stories that remind you that you're not alone doing this and that you are choosing not to drink for a very good reason. And the good news is there is so much out there. In my Sober Girl's Guide to Quitting Drinking, which you can find at my website, hellosomedaycoaching.com, I have a list of really wonderful books, audiobooks, podcasts, online resources that I personally use and recommend for women who are trying to quit drinking. But just off the top of my head, you could read or listen to Laura McCowan's We Are the Luckiest. You could read or listen to Catherine Gray's The Unexpected Joy of Being Sober. There's Sarah Hepela's Blackout, which is a fantastic memoir. You could look at Belle Robertson's Tired of Thinking About Drinking. There is The Sober Diaries by Claire Pooley. There is This Naked Mind by Annie Grace. Quit Like a Woman by Holly Whitaker. I also just did a podcast with Amanda Iyer Ward and Jardine Lebert, who just released their new book, The Sober Lush. You could listen to the Bubble Hour podcast with host Gene McCarthy. There is a wealth of information out there written by women, memoirs and fiction and how-to guides that will help you substantially on this journey. When I was first quitting drinking, I listened to sober audios a couple different times during my day. I listened to some when I was driving to my workout at 5:30 in the morning and driving home. I listened to it on my drive to work after dropping my daughter off at daycare. If I was having a hard day at work, I loved walking in a park and getting a latte and just for half an hour tapping into podcasts and audiobooks and clearing my head. And then at night after dinner, when I would typically drink, I would be rocking my daughter to bed. She was about 2 years old at the time, and listening to something on my earbuds. Again, you will not always need to do this, but in the beginning, it's so helpful. And honestly, you need to distract yourself from the thoughts that you really want to open that bottle of wine. So there you go. Go to my Sober Girl's Guide to Quitting Drinking. Get a list of great Quitlet, audio, fiction, podcast resources that will remind you that not drinking is a great idea and entertain you along the way. It is the number 2 thing you need in your sober toolkit.